And I realized very quickly in that room, I was definitely the dumbest one on AI. And I just went on a mission after that to dive pretty deep. From the moment I left that session and the plane ride home, I was extremely fascinated because I saw very quickly a new ecosystem, a new landscape, a new way of how everything was going to operate. And I just felt really far behind. And so then I kind of fell into a rabbit hole last year and emerged with a lot more AI internally in my business.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. I'm your host, Lynell Gordon. Welcome to the Vacation Rental Podcast. I'm Lynell Gordon, your host. And if you've been listening for a while, you will remember today's guest. Alex Zemianek has founded a company called JZ Vacation Rentals, and he spent years building real estate and rental business for that from the ground up. But guys, since his last visit, Alex has really thrown himself into a completely different frontier, AI. Now, he's a property manager background, so think about all that he's going to bring to us with that. He's now advising companies like Inhabit, Lynx, Summer OS, the AI Adaptive, and he's running a small army of custom AI agents inside his own operation, which we'll get to ask him about. So today we're talking about what that actually means to the short-term rental operator and where the hype ends and where the real advantage to AI begins and what's coming next. Alex, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Lynell. Very excited to see you and catch up and to be here.
So you've been heavily involved in AI. Advisory and custom-built automations that you've done. What originally pushed you to go all in on agentic AI for vacation rentals?
Great question. The first thing I want to say is I do not have a tech background other than vacation rentals. You kind of naturally have to learn tech a little bit, right? We have a lot of them. That was not my space. It was not my thing. My brother has a computer science degree and master's degree and ran the F-15 program at Boeing. And so he would always be my phone call. If my printer didn't work, I would call my brother. Like there was a lot of those things. So technical background is just really not what I had. Leadership, sales, absolutely. That was my background. And so, I've learned a lot along the way, obviously just from running a property management company and all the systems that you have to log in and out of. I think at one point I counted 40 different software applications that we needed a login system for. That was our ecosystem. So naturally, I would end up on a tech stack panel because I just became kind of obsessed with what I call like the digital plumbing of it all and like how everything talks and connects. Well, I was at an IMN a couple of years, it's been January of 2025, and I led a tech stack panel. And towards the end of it, we were really starting to bridge into AI, but not deeply. And then there was an AI discussion afterwards, just a roundtable, and a friend, Valerie Budd, nudged me to go to this roundtable, and I'm really glad that I did. And I realized very quickly in that room, I was definitely the dumbest one on AI. And I just went on a mission after that to dive pretty deep. From the moment I left that session and the plane ride home, I was extremely fascinated because I saw very quickly a new ecosystem, a new landscape, a new way of how everything was going to operate. And I just felt really far behind. And so then I kind of fell into a rabbit hole last year and emerged with a lot more AI internally in my business.
I just want to mention, so he couldn't connect his own printer, but he knew property management back and forth. He knew what he needed for his business, and he dove in to find a way to make that more efficient. And so, guys, I just want to say there's hope for all of you who think you don't have the tech that it needs, that you need to do this. That's not so. We're talking about AI, and AI is not like anything else that we've ever done. So you mentioned in something recently that I read that you have more than a dozen custom AI agents running 24/7 within your JZ vacation rentals. Tell me some real world operational tasks that those agents are handling today. And tell everybody what an agent is.
Yeah, I'll take a step back then. So ChatGPT, Claude, the large language models that most people use and know today. I think there's 1 billion users a week now in ChatGPT, so there's a lot. Chat is kind of like an intern. It's very eager. It's smart. It's ready to go. It can answer questions fast. But it doesn't really have your context history. It doesn't have the history of your working relationship. And so you get into projects, agents, things that can expand and give you a little bit more memory. It's no longer like that intern. It's more of like a trained employee that's been with you for a while. Sticking with the chat for a second, a prompt is when you're giving it either a question, direction, something that you put into the chat. It's input in, and there's an answer output back. Whereas an agent is going to do things for you. You can have agents that are supplied by these LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude, where they're going to build all the parameters for the agent, and it can do some very impressive things if you just go to ChatGPT today and use ChatGPT agent mode, for example. Custom agents takes it a little step further to where you get to design, build, train, and control just about everything you want that agent to do. And it's gotten to a place where an agent can do literally just about anything that we can do. What we get exposed to when we're using it with an LLM like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your favorite one is what is being available to the public. Whereas when you go out on your own and you start building these agents, you can really develop and train the system to do more of your work and your workflows. And so when going back to the 12 agent question, what I have now is basically 12 agents that are all on servers, which means that they can run independently. They can go while I'm sleeping 24/7. And the three things that are important with an agent is that you have memory is very important. So it remembers what to do and how to do it. And then you want a workflow. So it's not always requiring you to give the agent instruction. It already knows its instruction. That could be like an employee, you got to give an SOP, an operating procedure. And so having a workflow, a memory, the context for the agent is really the most important. What I've learned now, to give you now a workflow example to answer that part of the question, is financial. Bookkeeping, accounting has been incredible. The second that I figured out that I could connect to my QuickBooks via an API or an MCP, basically a key that gets me in that back door to ask questions to QuickBooks, to gather information from QuickBooks, I rarely ever log into QuickBooks anymore. Now I just ask my agent, which is a financial agent that has all of these different skills. And one of those skills is running a profit and loss or running a balance sheet or whatever I want it to do. So just having the ability to ask the agent to go do that for you saves a whole lot of time manually. But having the agent do a workflow that becomes quite repetitive, like such as every Monday, I'd like you to send me a financial statement, or every Monday, I would like you to email X, Y, and Z. It starts to become more of a residual workflow, the same way, however many years ago when a booking happened, we no longer had to manually copy, paste, thank you for booking via Airbnb or wherever it was. We created a workflow, which is called a trigger in some softwares. It triggers out a booking notification to that guest. It's taking a lot of the technology that already exists today, but just learning that you can expand it a whole lot further by leveraging AI to do it.
Wow. So other than the financial tasks, what other kind of real world examples for our PMs do you have?
Marketing would be a good one. I'll just give you a couple of the agents that you can spit out in case you want to dive into any of them. So I have a librarian that is for all my memory. The librarian will kick in and constantly, again, you can do it manually. You can have it save your context. When I use Claude Code mostly or Codex. And it keeps track of every single thing that happens throughout my day. If I get on a call, I have a meeting and tell agent that literally its entire role is to go through, I think it's on the hour, they will scan for transcripts, and then they'll look for commitments in those transcripts and extract them and put them into a task management system, Asana. And so then I'm keeping track of not just the tasks that I remembered or the tasks that I put in Asana or the tasks that came out throughout the day, but everything that was said out loud that was committed. And that has been phenomenal. Just that one workflow, being able to take all the transcripts that happen. Having calls transcribed is nice. But then if you get on 40 calls a week, it's a whole lot of transcriptions to go back to too. So it's nice to have just that repetitive agent to be able to do that. For marketing, I have it scanning for technical SEO. It'll look for problems with our website. It could be a read-only agent scan, or it can be writing, such as writing blogs for you every week or twice a week, or how often you want to do it. The amount of technical errors that my marketing agent was able to do in a matter of an hour is more than an agency could do in an entire year, just to put it in perspective.
That's amazing.
Yep. And so marketing agent, a librarian, I have security agent, and then I have 2 development agents, one for Codex, one for Claude Code. And so what happens when you keep adding these and you keep doing these is then you start to figure out, how do you get them to work together? Like, how do you get to start leveraging agents? And so I have a voting system where anytime I want to build something else, so anytime it's something that is important, it's a architectural decision, software. Again, I don't have a technical background. I could not write a line of code, but I've now developed several softwares, multiple apps, personal apps, business apps, and it's all done just by my voice, just by having the vision and then being able to speak it into fruition. But sometimes you need guidance or help. A lot of times, I should say, I need guidance and help daily. And so I have a voting session where they'll all cast a vote, and it has to go until it's unanimous is the rule. And we don't move forward until that's done. So that could go on for 45 minutes sometimes, where agents are casting different guide points. I look at running agents literally as like leading a team, and you're leading a team of very smart people and you're facilitating their ideas until you land on one, and then you move forward with it.
I want to dig a little deeper in that. Give me an example of something that they'd be voting on.
Yeah. So I built a software that's now kind of like an ecosystem where I have every single tech stack now wired in. If the tech stack offers an API or MCP, they stay in my stack. If they don't, I'm either helping them doing it or I
get it. We're going to get that MCP or that API. I agree.
So, for example, last night I wanted to build a better marketing reporting system. I have made my rounds on all the things that are very important. I already had marketing dashboards in Google Analytics and GA4 and Looker, still in a lot of different places, still for multiple entities and brands and nonprofit. And so in order to develop it right, instead of just jumping right in and asking or prompting for this design, I will go to this multi-agent development. It's like going to your power team. Like if I want to talk to my CPA and my attorney, and you want to talk to your power team, you go to your power team of agents, you present the idea, it goes into this brainstorming session, and then it's going to spit out so many different reasons and reasoning before you ever develop or architect or design anything. It's like really, really thinking through the plan before you implement it. So that would be just one idea. If it's financially related, if it's something development related, something that is going to be new, not just a quick answer, quick fix.
Give me one real example for that so people can put it all together in their heads. As far as what you feed your agents that are casting votes, give me one idea that you've fed to them in the past and they went through it.
I'll give you one for Missouri Vacation Homes Alliance. So Tyann calls me. She actually left me an audio note. I think I was on a meeting. It's like a 7-minute audio note of, hey, we're really wanting to get a software for the members, yada, yada, yada. Explained exactly what she was looking for, and her and our vice president that in their brainstorm. I took her audio note and dropped that in, turned it into a transcription while I was in between calls and said, will you listen to this? And I want you to go ahead and give this to all of the agents, vote on what needs to happen, where we need to start, what the plan is. And then it basically built this spec plan to develop the software for MOVA. And so it's taking stuff like that where I don't always even know where to start. And I want to get it from a development perspective. That's the development agent. I need the librarian to look back into memory and history and context. And then I need the security agent to always be able to veto. So if the security agent says, I don't think we should go that direction because of X, Y, and Z, then everything stops until we find the solution.
That's really cool. That's totally cool. Now, let's go into what you were going to talk about before. I think we've got some real world. Is there anything else that you want to share with property managers? Say like, this is the easiest thing you can do, guys. Really, if you're not going to do anything, do this. What would you tell them?
Gosh, there's so much. I mean, the first thing is yes. That's where I started with. I did not have a technical background. I have learned a lot about coding and the lingo, and I've learned a lot of it because I'm shadowing the smartest developer in the world, it feels like. So forget about Claude Code, the word code. Don't get intimidated by it. Just look at it as the most advanced version of Claude. Codex, look at it the same way. It's going to become a super app. And it's like the most advanced version of ChatGPT because they're basically going to be combined. The first thing I would say is that the landscape is shifting very, very quickly to where instead of you having to log in to 20 systems, 30 systems, worry about if does Streamline connect to Breezeway? Yes, it does. But let's say they didn't, or they didn't talk well, or there was one thing that you had to solve. The new landscape is not going to be just hopping around. The new landscape is going to be you can build any plumbing bridge, digital plumbing bridge you want. So if there's a reporting need, if there's a gap in any which way, it's going to now look more like a cockpit. That's kind of like where I think the lingo is starting to change in our world. And yes, to Lynell's point, anyone can do it. It's not that difficult. Takes a little bit of understanding how to prompt and how to talk to AI, I think is probably more important than learning the tech and the coding side of it.
100%. I think one of the things I'm reminded of is way back when, and I go way back when it comes to internet and tech, we built something and we called it One Big Community, and it's what the world was meant to be. You know, when the internet was really getting started, and I would go into a property management office, and this is what I would say. And guys, this is what I want you to think about. If you could wave your magic wand and XYZ would happen technically in your company, what would that be? We're at the place in AI where we can do that. We can think about it. You know how we go to our employees and we say, okay, here's your job. Tell me about your job. How are you doing? How are things? What do you hate? I always ask this. What do you hate about your job? What do you wish you didn't have to do? Right? What do you love about your job? What do you always love? I ask those questions because I know that I can hand off tasks to other. If they hate doing that, why am I making them do that unless it has to be done by that person? Number one, I want my employees to be happy. I want them to stay with me. I want them to be content in their job. Now you can ask yourself, what do I hate about my work? What would I really wish that someone else could do that I wouldn't have to do? And you can think about putting that, guys, into AI and having AI do that for you. I just think that's appropriate because you used to tell me and I used to program it for you, and now I don't have to do that anymore. Now you can do it yourself. Not only that, but I don't have to gather the specs. Like I'm headed to Germany in 3 or 4 weeks to gather specs for a company. They're going to tell me what they want this to do automatically. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to AI it. That's what I'm absolutely 100% going to do. And you can do the same thing. It is not that difficult. What if 3 days could define the next horizon for your business? Streamline Summit 2026 is coming to the Rosen Creek Hotel in Orlando, Florida, September 15th through the 17th. Visit streamlinesummit.com to secure your spot today. Here's what's in store. Day 1 kicks off with roundtables, one-on-one meetings, and a welcome cocktail event. Days 2 and 3 bring keynote speakers, expert-led sessions and panels, plus an exhibitor showcase built around the tools that are transforming our industry. Each evening brings something to look forward to as well, capping off with a farewell event on the final night. Because 3 days of momentum deserve a proper send-off. This is where vacation rental professionals come together to connect, to grow, and to move forward. Don't miss your seat at the table. Visit streamlinesummit.com and register today. We'll see you there. All right. So, Alex, there's a ton of hype around AI. From your perspective, what is the difference between operators like experimenting with AI versus truly integrating it into their business infrastructure? What does that look like?
Yeah. So as you mentioned earlier on, I've really pivoted a lot into advisory. It's been a passion of mine forever. And it's probably where I'll end up spending the majority of my time in the future, hopefully. But I love helping other people unpack their issues and problems because I feel like I have a lot of them. I'm an advisor still in the seat. I'm still in the driver's seat dealing with my own issues. So what I've learned is that, I think a lot of people are intimidated by the coding side of it, like vibe coding. And I love what you just said too, because just to piggyback off of that, I think internal AI is really important to focus on. And that is where I put all of my emphasis in a world where there's a lot of chatbots still that really popped off in 2023 and kind of gave us a stain on the chatbot in a way to where now you will still see it. I just read last week reviews that are saying, obviously, that was AI with one of our competitors. And so I feel like things are shifting to where people are going to be yearning more and more for the hospitality experience. So what we did is last year, I paused growth and I really focused on internal AI to save the tech stack costs and to give the team more tools, to your point, that make them faster, more efficient, be able to get answers quicker, universal inboxes. I felt like when people really grasp what you can do, meaning build your own systems, your own AI, your own engine, your own apps, your own environments, your own ability, an API is like a key and MCP is like the directions for the key. I use Streamline. Instead of worrying about when they're going to develop the perfect report for me, I just develop it myself and I just literally speak it out loud. So if you're a visionary, which most founders typically are a visionary, then you become an integrator immediately overnight. You are now can be a visionary and an integrator because AI can integrate now your visions that you used to have to put in a very long list of to-dos. So being able to develop these things, these systems without the need. And another way to say it too is that our tech stack, usually we think of the tech stack as what's in our vendor hall and conferences. And we think of the tech stack as like, Streamline and Habit Breezeway, all of these different vendors that people know. And there's also all the vendors that we don't ever talk about. Asana, Slack, your phone system. You have so many, DocuSign, HelloSign, PandaDoc, whatever you use. And when you start to think about those 20 other systems that you use, and all you have to do is connect to each one of them, and then you can design it and recreate it or build the workflows in any way that you want. Our world is going to very quickly change to where, because I'm already almost there, where you just log into one app, one system, and it drives every single other thing. I rarely log into 40 places anymore. I'm now driving from one cockpit. And so I would say if you're still chat GPTing and you're still prompting in, prompting out, it's better than a lot. It's a very high percentage, but you really, really want to get the massive value. It comes from connecting to your different tech vendors, tech stack, starting with the ones that are your biggest pain point. For me, that was Gmail and that was meetings. So I always recommend focus on one thing. What's your biggest pain point? And then turn it into a workflow, something that then you no longer have to do that one thing. You don't always have to take everything and go from 0 to 100% too. I failed that a lot, trying to get AI to do 100% of the tasks. An example of that that's practical is email. I wake up every morning. My flow is different now. I come in and say, good morning. Good morning is a workflow, and it starts a 20-minute process while I go then shower and drink coffee and all the things. I never used to start at my computer. That used to be after I woke up. Now it's the first thing I do because it's going to draft a response to every single email in my unread inbox. And then all I have to do is start in my draft folder and go and tweak them. So I'm not ready for it to send the email on my behalf, but I absolutely like when it drafts. So my point is find workflows. If you can't get them all the way, even if you get it to do 60% of the work for you, it's 60% you get back.
Are you doing that with Chat or with Claude for the drafting of the emails? Which one do you like better?
I do it right now with Claude Code. I have a team subscription for my team in ChatGPT Business. So in ChatGPT Business, they will all write and draft and respond through emails now from ChatGPT.
100%. We do too. That's really important. So, gosh, there was something I really wanted to ask you that you just top of mind. I just got really caught up in what you were saying. The good morning routine is an excellent idea. It really is. I hadn't thought about doing that before I started my coffee, though. Now, see, you've got me thinking.
Yeah, I love it. Just stating the obvious, it's hard to trust giving off some of these routines and rhythms. So it's so important to just take the 80% rule if that helps you. And for me, that used to be like a slide deck. I used to go to Fiverr for just about everything. Fiverr and Upwork if I needed all of these extra admin. You too?
Yeah, me too. I'm just like, yeah, I'm there.
Yep, absolutely. And I used to have this girl. She was amazing. Her name was Opula. I called her Opa as her nickname. And I would give her a task I had a presentation in the morning or whatever it was. Because we were on a different time zone, she would build this entire beautiful presentation. I did not care about the content as much, like the verbiage, because I could just double click and fill it all in, right? But she got 80, 90, I'd say 95% of the job done. And my 5% was cake. I needed to review it anyways, right? So I already planned on having a half an hour. The problems I would always run into is when I'm trying to start it and I'd spend 6 hours doing something that someone else could do in an hour. You got to look at AI like that. Like instead of trying to wait to trust it to do your entire workflow from start to finish, either give it easy workflows that it's already can do very quickly and fast and efficiently, or start with having it do 80% of something that really is daunting for you, or that really takes a lot of time and may not be your skill set. And you come in behind it and wrap up the remaining 20% or whatever that is.
Talk to me about how AI is going to change. It's changing today. What do you see in the future? What's coming down the road here that's going to affect us in vacation rentals?
It's exciting and sad at the same time to answer this sometimes, because SaaS is not dead, but it's redefined. The old SaaS, the old way of doing SaaS is definitely dead. What I've started to realize very quickly, and I mentioned it once, is MCPs and APIs are becoming more important than I think most companies understand. I started with navigating Streamline's API and then built all my own reporting system. And
hang on one second. Everybody probably does know what this, but like APIs, application programming interface, MCP, you want to explain it a little bit?
Model context protocol. So look at this, like to break this down. And again, I didn't know any of this stuff a year and a half ago. Not at all. I knew what an API meant, kind of, because everybody talked about it, but API is your key and MCP would be the directions. Where do you go?
So let's think about the key. API, think about it this way, guys. It's a map. You're mapping. Like, say you are looking to see the price of a property. The API for one system says price. The API over here may say cost or amount, but they're the same field. They're the same thing. And you basically map from one system to another. That's what an API does. It interfaces one system with another so that they can connect. So there's a key. Like you said, it's a key. There's a key field in one. There's a key field in the other. This is kind of techie, but not really. And that key field is how you put these two together. Most of the time, the keys field is not something you're not even exposed to you as the client. So you couldn't go and find that key to, say, a reservation in Streamline. You probably couldn't find that key. It's not going to be the reservation number. There's a key on the back end that matches a key in another piece of software, but it's the thing that connects the two. Now, the model context protocol is a little different. And give us a real world example of that, Alex.
I feel like it's kind of like the navigation system because it's giving the instruction. And so if a developer at Lynx, for example, develops an MCP, it's for the model, it gives it the context and the protocol of what it's able to do. They make it to where the directions of your agent, it has exact instructions. It has the API, so it has a key. So it can go in the back door of the concert and be right in the heart and do anything it wants, sit wherever it wants to sit.
So you're having a typical over techie breakdown. I'm just telling you something. You're talking above most people. And I know one of the things when you're a technical person, it's really hard. That's a gift. So take the first thing you said, it tells you what to do. And that's right. So guys, if you think about, and this API and MCP, that's important for you to understand. So the API maps it. The MCP tells it what to do. Bottom line, you're going to tell it by protocol. We all have protocols. We have SOPs. And that's kind of like how you can think about the MCP. It can tell what to do and it hooks in via API.
It's like the directions. And people might ask, like, why do I need an API to streamline, or why do I need the reporting when I can get it in a different system? Let's think of it as if you're building a doc in one of these systems. And the lingo I think that people will hear that they might remember is tags. A lot of software systems, they'll call it a tag, where let's say it's the door code. You have door code tag, and it tags in the door code that's changing on every single reservation that then goes out to the guest. Well, just like you like to design your doc the way that you want it, that's what you get to do with your entire ecosystem. So if you want your reports to be customized by owner, then you only are going to they call them endpoints instead of tags. It's an endpoint would be owner name. That's endpoint. Owner address. That's an endpoint. Gross rent revenue. That is an endpoint. And so then reviews, marketing, you can start to just design anything the way that you want. I had a call with my team before this, and we were having some communication challenges like all teams. And the stuff that we're trying to map out now, I'm pretty proud of my team because like the challenges are pretty regular challenges, but we're talking about breezeway messaging and GChat and email and Slack and which ones to use and when to use it and all those scenarios that we all face. And imagine if you can just say, okay, well, I want all of that to just be in one place. You can do that. You can basically just pull from 40 different systems and build your own universal inbox in a matter of 24 hours if you want to. And so it's that kind of stuff where you get to brainstorm, talk about your pain points, and whether that's a report you're building or it's an application that you're making easier, you can call from all these different places and pull it into one place where you don't have to have all the clutter of 40 different systems and 40 different logins.
Guys, that is the future. We don't even have to ask Alex what the future is. He just told you what the future is. No, really, that's what the future is. You're going to be able to do what you need to do specifically for your business in the way that you want it done. One of my kiddos has been after me. He's the CTO for a company, and he's like, Mom, he's like, we need to get together. I really want to write some things that'll do X, Y, Z for you. And I'm like, I just don't have time. I'd love to give that to you. The hardest time that we have at this point is going to be finding time because we will have more time to spend with our guests, with our employees, with our owners than we ever have before because many things will be automated. Do you agree with that, Alex?
I so agree with that. And I actually doubled down on the experience. I cut my NOI, I raised 168% last year. Not all from AI, but a lot from AI and chopping systems and, like I said, tech stacks that are outside of our vendor hall, like stuff that all the DocuSign subscriptions or whatever it may be, because now they're free and I can develop them myself or whatever. But I doubled down on the experience and hired a head of experience that the sole purpose is to make sure that we don't lose the hospitality and that we are leveraging AI. An example of this would be leverage AI to let us know when a guest has arrived. Our system will notify us 10 minutes after is what we've set up as a workflow, which can be done in Links and all of these different systems today as it is. So you leverage technology to give you faster answers, more efficient operation, but a human to pick up the phone and call the guest and see how the guest experience has started thus far. We're making our lives faster and easier and our data and our intel easier, but we're doubling down on the human experience because I feel like people are still going to be yearning for it. And I've read that on my own inspection of reading reviews. And so that would also be my advice is instead of just focusing on how do we get external chatbots and how do we get things that will communicate or go externally, push as much as you can on your own foundation of how fast are you able to gather your data? How fast is your team able to get a report ran or get the information that they need? Or how fast can standard operating procedures be created? All of that stuff makes the humans work a lot better. And I feel like our world is absolutely going to it already has, but it's going to very, very quickly continue to change to where there is going to be agents and humans on the org chart.
Oh, I agree with that. Already there. 100%. I wasn't going to ask you how much it costs. We're not going to go there. I think one of the things we have to think about, guys, is you don't have to be the smartest person in the room to do this. You just have to be the most resourceful. You truly just have to know your business and know what needs to be done and be able to look over, your company as a leader and say, okay, here's what I want. And I really believe in the future, those things will be right away available. Let me ask you this. Would you come back on the show and do a 101 for property managers where you teach them, let's set the bar low and let's talk about just how to access your email box, your email, whatever it is, and have chat create responses? Because I do that too. I never thought, once you do it, you don't even think about it afterwards, especially if I've had to create a new backup procedure for my nonprofit. And so I created it through AI. And then I said, okay, mail it out to my team, and make sure you include this and it needs to say it in this way. And I don't even think about it anymore. That's just how I do things. So would you be willing to come back and kind of do a 101 and show people who've never experienced anything like it? Let's just use chat, right? We'll use that.
Absolutely.
And help them, number one, show them how easy it is just to plug into your email and how easy it is to have them do something very simple. Like once you get a taste, it's that's how AI is.
I could not agree more. It becomes quite addicting. Like once you realize how easy it actually is, I think everybody is very resistant to the change, but it's the internet. And so if you're not already using the internet, just think about that. If it would have been however many years ago, 20 years ago or so, and then the internet comes around and you're pushing it aside, it is here. And if you're not already on the web, then I promise you'll be behind eventually. So yeah, I would love to, because at the VRMA executive, what I did at a roundtable there is actually just showed how to create an agent in less than 60 seconds. Because you can do it now in ChatGPT. I can do it in a LLM that's popular that I would say most people use, Claude or ChatGPT, that I talk to. We could totally do that because it is not as difficult as you think.
No, it's really not. It's not. No. The two things I'd like to show them is how to do that and how to use both of them against each other. How to use one to improve the other. And we have real life examples of that and why it's important that you do that. I think that when you teach somebody out the way they should go, we probably just shouldn't teach them, just go do this. That's perfect for the veil. But then we want to show them why they need Claude and why they need AI chat to refine each other, why that's important, because they forget, guys, and they lie. I'm just saying, AI lies. It hallucinates. It does all kinds of stuff. So it does. Where did you come up with that?
It goes off of the context that it has. And if you have ever done any kind of construction and you take the very first bid and the very first recommendation, you've probably been bit before. And I bet you won't do that again. And you'll get at least 3 answers the next time. Do that with AI as well.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Alex, for being with us. It's always a pleasure. I'm really grateful for all that you're able to share with us. And go ahead and schedule it and I'll announce it. Alex, thank you.
My pleasure. So good to see you. Thanks for having me. And I'll see you again soon.
Oh, I'm sure. This episode of the Vacation Rental Show is brought to you by Streamline. To find out more about how Streamline can grow your vacation rental business, visit streamlinevrs.com. Make sure to search for the Vacation Rental Show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team here at Inhabit, thanks for listening.